So the Fender Custom Shop made a mistake. We've been waiting for this guitar for a while. We're going to tell you the entire story. Stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
I'm Cooper Greenberg.
And we are here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you want to support the channel, you can visit our Spring Store link below for custom swag and check out our podcast called the Fretboard Confessional. So the Fender Custom Shop is great builders. We love their product. We feature a lot of them on this channel, feature a lot of them in the store. We even went through an exercise last year with different ones of us building our own dream Stratocaster to celebrate 70 years of the Strat. But they're not infallible. In fact, we've told stories when we got a chance to talk about that awesome John Mayer BLK1 that they can make mistakes. And we were on the receiving end of one of those mistakes with this very cool guitar. This is a limited edition.
Yeah.
Or as Cooper would say, limited edition.
This is limited edition 1962 Strat. Very cool.
Very cool.
And I'm going to tell you two mistakes that I think are on there, and then we'll reveal what it actually is. Mistake number one, it's not a Telecaster. Mistake number two is the pickup is flipped the other way.
It's backward. What the heck?
It's backward. We did order it like that. I'm going to read you the entire title of this
Shop
guitar.
Traveler.
Limited 62 Strat, GH, gold hardware, Heavy Relic, over Closet Classic, ASHGM/3TSB, which translates to aged Sherwood Green Metallic over 3-tone Sunburst. And the actual mistake on this guitar, when Chris picked it out at an online dealer event, and we were all very excited for it, was there was no Sherwood Green on this
guitar. There was no Sherwood Green.
It showed up.
It just came up as a Sunburst. And I remember we opened the guitar case. We're like, well, wait.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Did we? I thought we ordered something else.
Yeah.
I thought something different was coming in. What's going on? And I remember us looking at the Shop Traveler and going, no, it says this.
Yeah.
Y'all painted the guitar wrong.
They're like, oh, all right, well, send it back. And so we got this like over a year ago.
Yeah.
When it was not painted with the Sherwood Green. And then we sent it back, and they took it all apart and repainted it and redid the whole thing.
And it took how long to come in?
It took like at least 8 to 9 months, I think.
Okay. That tells us something. So all of you sleuths at home, if you're keeping notes, we've been trying to crack the code. I think we've got them. We've got them. So how they relic instruments at the Fender Custom Shop is you order an instrument, they build it according to spec and make it brand new, and then these guys go out and they gig hardcore for about 6 or 7 months with the instrument. They wear the biggest belt buckles they possibly can. They play in every dive bar that they can find in around in California. No case.
No case.
No case. Just chuck it, and then when they feel like, yeah, that's close enough to Heavy Relic, then it ships to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you can smell the experience.
Yeah, you smell the experience on that one. I have gone on record saying that I'm not crazy about Heavy Relic stuff. However, one of my dream guitars, which is not the other, this all comes back together. When I was younger, I saw my very first shell pink over 3-tone Sunburst Strat, and just thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Loved it. Fast forward to when I got to spec out my dream Strat. I'm a Sherwood Green guy.
Sherwood Greenberg.
And so this is like a perfect combination of those, because when it comes to relicking, not insane about it, but when it's color over color, I love, based on sort of the history of that, when, more designery colors came to be a thing and people would send their guitars back to get resprayed, and they just spray it over the 3-tone Sunburst and then it'd rub through.
Well, sometimes that's how it happened,
yeah.
But sometimes it was based upon sell-through.
Yeah.
So there's a or based upon order and where it was shipping to. So there's a ton of vintage guitars from this, like the 60s, where I think it was Fiesta Red was super big in the UK, and so they were respraying Sunburst or black guitars Fiesta Red, and then it would wear through, or if something just wasn't selling, then they would just kind of switch on the fly. And what I love is if you fast forward to today and we spend all this time on YouTube talking about specifications and the thinness of finish and whatnot. Back then, man, it's just a guitar company trying to sell guitars. Yeah, and what's great about it too is if you think about it, Fender and Gibson effectively invent an entire category, and along the way they're figuring out how to do this, how to get it into dealers, how to get musicians excited about it. The Les Paul's a flop, all of this stuff, and then move ahead in time 80 years, and we're like, okay, is that super thin nitro? Because I want it to sound like Hendrix's 1970 poly finish guitar or something. It's kind of funny, but I do love this a lot for that story that what you just mentioned is that it speaks to an era. It speaks to something really practical that was going on, and then the results of those changes that were happening. So you get this kind of peek in to what was happening at the factory. I also dig the how this happened with the Paisley stuff that the custom shop would do.
Yeah.
And do you know about Brad Paisley's deal on his guitar? So if you don't know, there was a point where Fender did a bunch of Paisley guitars, and they were basically wrapped. And they've done reissues of that kind of stuff, but they didn't hit. And so they resprayed a lot of these guitars to cover up the Paisley. And they've done some custom shop stuff like this where you'll have the reveal. But Brad Paisley loves those guitars. I can't figure out why. But he has a number of them. And I want to say Glazer was working. He bought a 60s black Telly that he wanted Joe to refinish. And Joe went to start doing that, and it turns out it was already a Paisley underneath the black. And it was just like,
that's so cool.
How cool is that? So yeah, I just love this stuff because they're old guitars.
Old guitars, and we did mention that this has a backwards pickup.
We did. You get some of the Hendrix vibe going on.
Oh yeah, and this was kind of part of limited edition. They had a few guitars that were like this in that dealer event. Different finishes, but all with the kind of, what would you call that? Reverse pickup?
Reverse pickup.
Yeah. So it's very cool. Now, along with the finish being this kind of nod to this is an old school thing that would happen with certain guitars, the internal, especially the pickups, is also pretty cool because they're all a little bit different. And so think of the Strat that I put together, and this is it 80 years later of this has gone through so many different lives. So we talked about the color. Now the pickups in the neck, you got a 69 Strat hand wound, which we had that purple 69 Strat. Those pickups rocked.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But in the middle, you got a Fat 50s hand wound, which is total opposite, really cool. And then your cocked to the other side guy is a Texas Special. So that is like this cool kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan Hendrix mix kind
overwound
of thing. Yeah. And all hand wound, but all three different things. Really fun and interesting. I did mention, I think I said it earlier, as Heavy Relic over Closet Classic, not finish wise. The guitar is a Heavy Relic, but the gold hardware on there is Closet Classic,
which
it's
I
think
is
a nice,
worn out, tarnished
thing. Yeah.
Let's talk about this pickup, because I said it's like a Hendrix vibe. So, we know, or hopefully Jimi Hendrix was a lefty, and there weren't a whole lot of left-handed Strats, still aren't actually, but particularly back in the 60s. And so he took a right-hand Strat and he flipped it upside down and he played it, strung the opposite way. And that has two unique aspects to it other than looks. One, when it gets strung that way, there's like differences on the tension based upon how it's hitting the tuners. You have a lot more left over on the low E than you do on the high E, compared to this. So it's just like you could do the same thing with a reverse headstock, which they do on the Jimi Hendrix model. But the other part of it, and I think the part that actually comes through more from a sound standpoint, is with the different angle of the pickup when you string it that way. Because the whole point of the angle is to nail those magnets down at different frequency points on the string. So that traditionally on your high E string, you have a brighter sound going on a Strat than on the low E. So we've reversed this now. And so you've got a mellower frequency sound right here on the high E strings and, so forth as it follows through that curve. And so that low E has this. There's a roundness to it.
Yeah, and it's totally apparent in the demo because you can hear. I play through all the pickups. I end with that bridge pickup, and I try to do some stuff where it's like kind of going up and down with scales, but then also in the cash register down there, like
Where I play.
really hitting the low E, A, and D string. They sound so much brighter and cutting, but then on the leads, on the high strings, it's kind of got this little bit fuller sound, which I think for a certain player that's really cool.
And it's not just on the bridge pickup because it plays into the in-between sounds when you go into the bridge and middle because, again, it's just pickups are a microphone, man.
Yeah.
They're just picking up what the strings are doing at that spot, and it really does have a really cool effect when you do something like this.
So on the neck, that's a 1960 Strat neck, and
nice
that
and
is roasted maple, quarter sawn, not bad. That's what
feels really
what
good.
you dig. And only other thing that I think is worth mentioning is you got a nice 9.5 radius. It's a good feeling guitar, and it's very, very unique when you just take into account what's going on with the pickups, all the controls, the 5-way switch, the knobs. They're all the same as you would expect. But that mix of pickups and all that, it just totally...
It's a roasted neck?
Yeah, roasted.
Yeah.
Roasted quarter sawn maple neck.
Yeah. This neck feels as good as some of the Eggles we've gotten.
Yeah.
Which is high praise. High praise.
Very high praise. But you got that large C 1960 kind of thing. Feels really good. Gives you a little bit more something to hold on to. And
so comfy. It's so comfy. It's rounded really well around the fretboard. And I mentioned, it's worth repeating, Custom Shop Limited Edition. So it's not just a Custom Shop. It's a Limited Edition Custom Shop. And it's a mess up that was remade. This thing's got history already.
And it looks like it does.
It does.
But it sounds very cool. Take a listen.
So there you have it, Cooper's demo of this awesome guitar. You know, sometimes I feel like you got to go, through a few things to have a good story in your life.
Yeah.
You know, to really, come up to what you're supposed to be. This guitar has gone through it.
Yeah.
It was made and shipped and rejected and remade and
just like me.
it's awesome. It's a really, really cool guitar. I was excited when we ordered it for all the specifications. I'm glad we got it back. And they've done a really good job with it. Fantastic.
Yeah. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Can you hear the difference on the pickup angle? Did you notice that I was playing a half step down because I want to be like Stevie Ray kind of vibe? I always have, always will want to. And what do you think? Do you think relicing looks cooler when it's over another color? Because I do.
I do. I am. You said you didn't like heavy relicing, except in these circumstances. I'm a changed man. I like it. There have been too many of the custom shops that we have gotten in have been reliced or heavy reliced, and I loved them, and they found homes. There are two particular tellies that I kick myself for not buying that were heavy relics or a relic, and and I think I've said this before. One of the things that changed it for me was seeing that, symphony players with high-end violins and stuff that are being built by luthiers, they're having them reliced so that they don't look like brand new instruments. And I think that just kind of locks it in. Like, you want it to, have the look of experience, even if it's new, have the vibe, have the feel. It's cool. It's really cool.
They also tune a half step down. Because it rocks.
Because it rocks.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you think in the comments about this guitar and about guitars like this. Do we want to see more reverse mount pickups on stuff like this? Do you dig the color over color stuff? And how about Cooper's hair? It's pretty on point today, right?
Thank you.
Despite the humidity. So, let us know what you think. If you'd like this guitar to be your very, very own, or anything else from the Fender Custom Shop, you can find them on our website, which is
alamomusic.com.
There you go. So visit the website, reach out to us through chat on there, check out all of the beautiful photos that we've taken of this guitar and others, and find the one that suits your needs. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, keep coming back. We'll see you next time.